Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I'm LordJim, and in this video, we'll be diving into Libertad. If you find this content helpful or entertaining, don't hesitate to like the video and subscribe for more Blitz gaming content. Your support helps this channel grow. Now, let's get started. A naval arms race among Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, the wealthiest and most powerful countries in South America, began in the early 20th century when the Brazilian government ordered 3 dreadnoughts, formidable battleships whose capabilities far outstripped older vessels in the world's navies. In South America, 2 nations with a large Pacific facade were on the brink of war or full-out war at several occasions. Chile and Argentina were freed from Spanish rule, but their position on the southern cone was likely to hinder each other's. Indeed, this decade of high tension was primarily driven by territorial disputes over control of the southern region of Patagonia and the strategic importance of sea power in the region. Tensions had been simmering for years due to conflicting territorial claims, specifically the ownership of the Strait of Magellan and the Beagle Channel. Indeed, the Argentine and Chilean navies possessed insignificant naval forces in the 1860s. These were a collection of civilian vessels with ad hoc addition of various guns. There were up to 5 warships in the second only. Argentina, however, became concerned over the newly built imperial ambitions and significant naval program of the Brazilian Navy. Diplomatic relations between Argentina and Chile soured at the time based on boundary claims in Patagonia, and after the War of the Pacific, the Chilean government managed to retake the lead in the Americas. During World War II, the Chilean Navy carried out training, and when war erupted between the US and Japan, started more thorough patrol work, enforcing its waters neutrality and protecting its in and out trade lines. I have prepared for you 2 contents for the new tech line Panamerican battleships. One of them is Tier 10 Libertad. With Libertad, a new ship feature has joined Blitz, modified secondary munitions. The Libertad is designed around multi-barreled and very powerful secondaries, which I found isn't exciting as a tech line in the game. It also comes with 2 camouflages. The Libertad and the Panamerican battleship tech line is definitely an exciting development in Blitz. In general, the ships in this tech line represent the navies of Brazil, Chile, and Argentina and other Pan-American countries, both historically and in design. As for the battleships, the Tier 5 Rio and Tier 8 Atlantico battleships are already examples in the game. However, there is no similarity between these battleships and the San Martin Pan-American cruiser tech line. Secondary battery choices on the equipment, range versus reload. I tested both setups, both good. Reload could be a good choice for you, but here's the deal. The reload build felt a bit too aggressive on me. I was constantly chasing enemies to keep my secondaries in range. Range wins for me. It lets you melt ships before they even get close. But for a better damage results, reload is the one. Isabel is the undisputed queen of Pan-American battleships. Her Close Quarters Expert Plus and Horizontal Protection Expert Plus are perfect for Libertad's brawling playstyle. Pro tip, her blue traits, 13th to 15th, synergize insanely well with Libertad's strengths. We'll see the combination in the gameplays. Will Libertad find a place among the Tier 10 heavy brawlers? We are looking for an answer to this question. Because in Tier 10 there are existing brawler battleships such as Großer Kurfürst, aka GK, Preußen, Schlieffen, and Sicilia. All of these ships can do very well in random matches and are popular. We see Libertad's damage output is completely huge, and she has super ship damage potential. Seems like Libertad boasts the highest gun DPM of any ship in the game, making it a nightmare to deal with if it can get closer to you without taking too much fire. Her main guns also have way too much damage output at the moment. Probably she has the highest main gun output of any ship in the game, despite being a secondary-focused ship. Libertad has the not the best main gun dispersion. We are used to seeing in brawler battleships, but let's note that there are too many barrels like Preußen. I must add that I really like the main gun penetration. Her secondaries having insane damage output is one thing, although it is already insane. We have 20 barrels with higher HE damage than some cruisers and faster reload compared to Schlieffen. The manual secondaries alone with secondary reload build pump out more damage, even compared to some Tier 10 cruisers' HE shells. And in practice, the gap will be even higher as Libertad's secondaries can be aimed at weak points to get full pens. But we should remember that it does lack a bit of tankiness that the German brawlers possess, so it's important to use island cover or detection well in Libertad. To balance all this out, which we see while playing and on the benchmark screen as having weaker armor and damage reduction than German heavy battleships, she doesn't seem get citadeled as often as standard battleships like the Montana and Yamato, but her deck armor is very soft, and unlike the Atlantico, you don't need to be pixel perfect to score full points on her. With relatively good concealment and slightly better mobility, you need to develop a different style of play. In random matches on maps with A, B, and C-type areas, your position can become dangerous if your team's destroyer or cruiser doesn't move ahead of you and spot the dangers in the area. As in every brawler, you need to pay attention to the time you push. It does not have the appropriate tanking for a kamikaze-style mission with a Libertad that is vulnerable to being pushed early. However, timely offensive moves are also needed to use secondaries more effectively. When I played with Libertad, I felt like a true brawler, closing in on enemy ships, tanking damage, and making a real impact. But on those huge maps, or when enemy planes were spotting me constantly, things got tricky. If my team's destroyers and cruisers played too passive, hanging back like battleships instead of pushing for vision, it was hard for me to get close and unleash my secondaries. If the DDs and cruisers create pressure and spot for me, Libertad becomes an absolute beast.
Armor yourself in faith.
matey. Hey, hey! Going full speed! You've striken through the armor! You've striken through the armor!
Penetration! The machine spirit! Scraps over there, boys! Reserve! Direct it! Downwards! Reserve! Begins! Downwards! Direct it! Push! All the bank boys are swimming in danger room! Reserve! Begins! Direct it! Downwards! Downwards! Push! All the bank boys are swimming in danger room!
Enemy spotted. Gets ready to rumble. Gangway! The ship be on fire! Hey, hey! Going full speed!
us for battle! Enemy force detected! Target penetrated! Break their backs! Confirmed penetration! Engulf them in pain! Penetration! Again! Until they are no more! Confirmed penetration! Engulf them in pain! Target penetrated! Break their backs! Confirmed penetration! Engulf them in pain! Confirmed penetration! Engulf them in pain! We'll hold the overwatch alive! We're flooding quickly! Penetration! Again! Until they are no more! Target penetrated! Break